It's killing me. I feel like he's died. I feel like, I don't think I could hurt anymore if he had passed away. I really don't. I mean, it just rips my heart out.
Welcome to the Sally Harris Show, where moms of estranged adult children find faith, healing, and the courage to rise again. And today I have a mom with us from Kentucky, and we are going to be talking about the pain that she's been carrying of going complete, total no contact with her youngest son, which is a heartbreak that happened suddenly due to an incident, which we're going to share here in just a minute. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So to just kind of set the scene for everyone, what happened here with you is it felt like literally one single incident, one single moment that happened. And that was your then 23-year-old son had pushed his dad, which
Yes.
something that had never, ever happened before. It was
No.
something, right? So out of fear and concern, you guys called the police and he was arrested that day. You
Yes.
did not press charges, but out of fear, you needed to figure out to, kind of
Right.
isolate the situation, get this to stop. So the next morning, you said his girlfriend came and she gathered all his stuff and the dog and all the things. And this was February of 2024, which was nearly 2 years ago. And you have not had any contact with him since. Is that right?
Not by his choice. I went to a restaurant when I knew they were there and they were getting in their car, and I was basically in the parking lot on my hands and knees begging him to talk to me, and they both rolled the windows up and act like they didn't even hear me. And I wasn't yelling or screaming. I was being, just begging. And he finally blew the horn for me to get out of the way. And that's the only time. Then his dad went to where he was living. And when he put the garage door up and seen it was him, he put it back down. So
Mm,
we have
okay.
sent cards and letters and birthday cards and Christmas, and no response whatsoever. He does speak to his brother. That's the only person he has any contact with.
Okay. So every attempt you made was met with silence. And what is that doing to you on the inside as a mom?
Oh, it's killing me. I feel like he's died. I feel like, I don't think I could hurt anymore if he had
Mm.
passed away. I really don't. I mean, it just rips my heart out.
So, and it was so sudden and very uncharacteristic, right? And I don't know your son, and I'm not trying to label your son whatsoever, but something snapped in him, but we don't know why or any of that. But at the end of the day, for when our kids react that way in a way that we've never seen before, there's more to the story. And for whatever
Yes.
reason, he's not wanting to share, or maybe he doesn't know. I'm not sure which, but it feels so final. But I know you're a woman of faith. And so
Yes.
we know that this is not over.
I keep telling myself that.
Yes.
Trying to remind myself.
Yes, we have to believe that. Um, then, where things stand right now is just you're kind of an idol. How is this affecting your marriage with your husband? Because it happened to him, right?
Right. And this is our child together. One day I'll be crying and he's like saying, I never want to speak to him again. And then the next day he'll be crying and I'll be like, don't let him upset you. I never want to speak to him again. We're back and forth all over the place. It's been a roller coaster. It's been horrible, but we both feel the same way. We both just want to reconcile with him. We
You love your son.
we love him both. Yes.
And share also what you shared with me about a monumental event in his life that you also missed. If you're listening today and you're thinking, I really need more support, I do offer what's called a heart-to-heart consultation. It's a 30-minute consultation. It's not a coaching call, but it's designed for moms who are ready to explore coaching, whether it be one-on-one or group coaching. So if that is you and you're interested, you can check out the link below. We'll see you soon.
Yes, his wedding. We didn't even know about it. He did invite his brother. He got married, but they didn't get married in a church. Her parents were there, which is kind of, I think, adding to the situation. But he did invite his brother, but his brother felt very torn. He ended up not going. He didn't tell us till it was over with, but he didn't feel right going without us being there.
Has that affected his relationship with his brother that he didn't come to the wedding?
No, no. What we have finally quit doing is we kept trying to send messages through my other son to him, and my son is just like, "Don't talk to me. I don't want to talk about it. Leave me, you know." So I'm trying. I've gotten a lot better about that because I do want him to have a relationship with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Because when my middle child will bring it up to him, he'll kind of go silent for a couple weeks on him. Like he don't want to talk about it. He don't want to.
Right. And that's the thing. That's a struggle that all moms, if you have more than one child, you've definitely experienced this,
Yes,
where you want that other person to be the ally, but also the sounding board, which is very dangerous. Hmm.
and I don't want to do it to my son. I shouldn't
Yeah,
put him in the middle. I really don't. But you're just so desperate, you would do anything. I mean,
absolutely. You also said here that the inner struggle piece is that you feel hopeless at times and you've begged God for restoration. You never imagined it would last this long,
never,
approaching
never.
just 2 years here. And you thought maybe, as most of us would, that after the initial shock wore off of him, even that maybe he would apologize and have a conversation and come home.
Right.
So you must be wrestling with how to move forward. And what have you been doing for yourself during this time? How have you been trying to navigate this path for 2 years?
Nothing positive. And
Okay.
just,
Okay.
just crying a lot and just
Okay.
not wanting to go out and do anything with friends or do anything. I just,
Mm,
everywhere you go, you think about them. Holidays, and we just had Thanksgiving, and my husband's family was here, and it's just you don't even want to participate. It's just hard. The holidays make it worse. And he just had his birthday. That was his second birthday. And you start replaying, oh, they were born at this time, and oh, this, and you just go through all the emotions.
right. So it's basically consumed your whole life, correct?
Yeah, yes, it
Feel
has.
feels
Yes,
like it. From what you've described to me, and this is my first time meeting you. From what you've described to me is you're stuck, and we've got to get you unstuck.
I
Uh,
really do.
for your marriage, for you to parent your other children, and I don't mean parent them, but you're their mom, and they want you in their
Well, and I
life.
have grandchildren that I feel like I'm
Mm,
not giving them my attention that they want also, because I'm so distracted by him,
yes. Yes.
and
Okay.
that's not fair to them either.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not.
As moms, you feel guilty no matter what you do.
Mhm. And I believe, there's the moms that I coach, there's two things, and it sounds simplistic, but the two things that you need to be doing, and I know you're praying for your son, you're praying for a reconciliation, you're praying for all this. But one thing you said is that you beg God for restoration. I
Yes.
want you to stop begging God, and I want you to start thanking God. You've already asked him. You've asked him to do what only he can do. So now you have to believe. If you're going to pray, you need to pray with belief,
Okay.
right? And we need to
Yeah.
pray with that and trust that he's going to do what only he can do, because that whole surrender piece is the hardest part for moms, because we're mom. We've always
Right.
fixed everything. But guess what? We can't fix this on our own.
Right.
And I was describing this the other day to someone about how we do what we can do in the natural means, going to the restaurant, trying to get him to talk, sending cards, doing those types of things. That list gets exhausted pretty quickly, doesn't it?
Very quick. Up until probably a couple of months ago, we probably still would have been willing to do something wherever we could, but we're trying to move forward from that.
Mhm. Mhm.
I feel like it may even push him further away.
It can, depending on how often you're reaching out. But it didn't appear to me that you were doing, from what you've shared so far. It doesn't sound like you've been doing it.
We've cut way back, yeah,
Okay.
as time goes on. But then you feel like a bad mom and you're letting your child down and you're giving up on them and just crazy, crazy emotions all over the place.
Absolutely. But this is where you have to trust in your faith and believe that God can do what only he can do, and letting him do the supernatural piece that you and I can't do. We think we can, right? Because we're mom, but we're not. We're not God. And so we do what we can do in the natural and then let him do the rest. I promise you that's the answer. But in the meantime, you have to start taking,
Well, I'll take any advice you can give me because I've tried it. Nothing I've done's worked. So
yeah. Well, this starts with you, though, and you navigating your own life and healthy choices. Because, like you said, you haven't done a whole lot of good things. And
No.
I can relate. I totally went the wrong direction for many years in the beginning. And it wasn't until I surrendered my own, well, for me, I turned to alcohol, right? So I had to navigate the sobriety piece, and I had to surrender my daughter and her choices and all the things that in her life, my family, I had to surrender all of it. And when I did, everything started shifting because he's waiting for us to do that.
Yeah. That
God,
just gives me so much hope to hear that. That just really encourages me.
I'm
And
glad.
I needed to hear that because, your family and friends, they don't know what to say. And all they just feel bad for you, and or they'll try to talk bad about him, and you don't want them talking bad about him because that's your child.
Absolutely.
So
And I
it's nice to hear it from somebody else.
want you to remember too that God's working when you can't see it. There's things that are taking place as we speak that he's working. He's going to work all of this out. Your son has to be a willing participant, and so do you. And you are pretty much you're raising your hand saying you're going to be a willing participant when you start taking better care of yourself and your own life and enjoying and loving those that are in front of you. Like you said, the grandkids, your other kids, not that you don't love them, but we were so focused on the one that's missing that we can't like give our full attention to those that are there.
Right.
I know the feeling. Yeah, it's hard.
Actually, I do feel like God led me to you.
I'm
I
honored.
do feel like he's working
Yeah.
in the background. You know, who would have thought on Facebook I would, be where I'm at right now talking to you? It was just meant to be.
Well,
So now I got to do my part.
yes, now you got to do your part. But the story's not over. This is not over. And I know this is a hard time as we're navigating holidays and all of that. But I have one final question for you that I'd like to ask
Okay.
you is if you could tell your son something, if he would actually listen and sit across from you in a moment, or he heard this, what would you tell him?
I tell him that I love him and I forgive him for everything that happened. Um, I just want a relationship with him. I just want a relationship, and I love him, and I miss him terribly, and I have a hole in my heart.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm quite sure he has a hole in his too. A lot of our kids don't admit that up front,
It makes you
but
wonder, don't it?
mhm, mhm. But they usually do. And like I said, there's always more to the story than what meets the eye. So there's more going on in here and in here for him, whatever that is. I don't know him. But until he's ready to take a honest look, and he's young, right?
Right.
Um, but that's the next step. But the next step for you is to be taking better care of yourself, your husband, your family, but you as a whole, your health, your mind, your faith, like just start pouring into you. So, and that we call that self-care, which is broad, but honestly so important in navigating what brings you joy. And you may say, nothing brings me joy right now.
Well, you do feel like that a lot, but you got to go back and figure it out, I guess.
We do. We start
You
over.
feel like you lose yourself. I've lost myself. I mean, I don't even recognize the person I am.
I totally agree. Most moms do, but we have to pick ourselves up and dust ourselves off and keep trudging forward. And we're not moving on. Don't look at it like you're moving on without him. You're just moving forward in the right direction. And when he's ready, he can join you.
Well, and I'll be in a better place to accept him when he's ready if I'm take care of myself
Yes.
first.
Yes. And that is what I call the path to authentic connection, because that is who do you want to be? And I ask moms this all the time. Who do you want to be when they come back? I think about that. There were times several years during the situation with my daughter where if she'd have walked through the door, she'd have been like, I'm out. No, thanks.
Right. Don't be running and pouncing and
Right.
begging and crying. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm sure it's going to be really awkward that first time. It would have to be.
it will be. And that's a whole nother journey That's a whole separate conversation. But when they
Mhm.
start, when you have that first meeting with them, or you get to, have that conversation, what should that look like? That's a whole nother conversation. But for right now, you need to focus on you. So I just want to thank you so much because your vulnerability and your persistence, that you're not giving up. I think that you're just stuck on what to do next for you. And
Yes.
maybe that means getting a community around you. Maybe that means getting some guidance. I always say keep your friends for fun. So you can actually get out there and do some fun things with them where it's not bogged down just about the conversation about the issues with our family, because that can be overwhelming for them. And I know I overwhelmed a lot of my friends over the years. So
But I'm sure they're like, "Oh, here she comes,"
here she comes. Well, they love you and they want to help, but they just don't know how. And that's okay. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I just want to thank you again for being here. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate everything you're doing. This is amazing. It's been needed for a while now, and I just think it's wonderful what you're doing.
Thank you. I
You
appreciate
already
that.
made me feel better.
Oh, good. Good, good. Well, for those of you listening, if you're interested in sharing your story like this and you want to fill out an application, you can reach us at team@sally-harris.com. So until next time, we'll see you. God bless.